Hey, fight fans, welcome back to Carlo Prusa MMA. I'm the fight doctor, Mr. Carlo Prusa, and today my guest is DZ Machine. He is Mr. David Zelner, and he's getting ready to take the gloves off, taking on Mike Sanford, November 15th. Gamebred Bareknuckle 8, Biloxi, Mississippi. David, man, this is going to be an awesome card. Tons of former UFC guys on it, former PFL guys. It's going to be one hell of a night, man. When we're only about 3 weeks away from the action, what's the mindset? What's the mentality right now?
I'm feeling good. I would say very excited. This is my first fight, bare knuckle. I'm excited to, go kind of raw dog on it and just feel the knuckles.
So, obviously this isn't the first time that you fought for Dean Toole in one of his promotions, but the first time taking the gloves off. If someone were to ask you maybe 10 years ago if you would ever consider fighting bare knuckle, what would have you told them?
I would say definitely yes. I got into MMA because I wanted the closest thing to a real fight, and I think taking off the gloves is even closer to that. So I would say yes, I would have definitely agreed to do bare knuckle. When I started MMA, they didn't have a bare knuckle MMA, so it wasn't even a thought. But now that we have Gamebred FC, it's a huge opportunity for me.
So I think a lot of people underestimate bare knuckle in the sense of those guys who do jiu-jitsu, guys who wrestle. Obviously, it makes it a lot easier to wrestle, makes it a lot harder to defend takedowns. Do you think with that added in here, you're going up against a guy who's also really good on the ground, has got really good jiu-jitsu. Is that going to create a weird dynamic for this one?
Yeah, it could. I'm hoping not to actually wrestle that much, and I want to keep it on the feet as much as I can. That's my game plan. That's my style of fighting. I like to keep it on the feet and trade punches. I think that's what the fans want to see as well. But you know what? If he dives for my legs, I'm very well prepared for that as well. And I guess you're just gonna have to see what happens there. But yeah. I'm excited for wherever the fight goes.
You've proven from your past performances you're a very well-rounded mixed martial artist. Obviously, you got some nice wins by finishes from the hands. You also got some good victories on the ground by chokes. At what point in the career did you really start thinking, if I want to try to fight for the bigger shows, I need to be as well-rounded as possible?
I actually, from the very beginning, I wanted. That's why I really liked MMA. Is instead of for instance, like just boxing or something, is because there are a lot of different ways to win. And I think that's the best thing about it is, maybe the hands aren't working. Maybe I do take them down and submit them on the ground, or just control and get good ground and pound. And that leads to the finish. There's just so many different ways to win in this sport. So yeah, that's what really, drives me to do MMA.
Why did you get into this crazy world, man? You can do so many things in life. You chose to be a professional fighter. Why did you choose to go down this road?
Why? That's a really good question. Sometimes I ask myself that as well. Sometimes, yeah, you're just not. It's not really your decision. I felt like I'm just kind of going with what came into my life, and I'm liking it so far. So, I'm gonna keep doing it.
No, you've already had the opportunity to fight in one of the bigger promotions in the world, obviously in the PFL. Do you remember where you were when you got that phone call that you were going to be signed to fight a fight in the PFL?
Where was I was at my house in Merritt Island, and yeah, I do remember, and it was like a dream come true. But tell you the truth, when I got the call for Gamebred FC, that felt even bigger to me. And this is the hugest opportunity I've had dealt to me, and I can't wait to seize the moment.
You're being able to kick off a card that has, I mean, it's so many UFC veterans on this thing that I absolutely lost count. I mean, all these cards have been good, but I really think on paper, this card that Dean and Jorge and the rest of them put together is by far the best. I mean, obviously, crazy main event, Costa and Davis. You have Chase Sherman on there, Maurice Green, Jason. I mean, we can do the whole interview talking about it. Being able to fight with some of those guys who've been in the UFC, been in huge fights, is it pretty cool? I mean, you kind of have a fan in you knowing that you could be part of this?
100%. I'm a huge fan of a lot of those guys, Brandon Davis, even Randy Costa. That's the main event, I believe. And just everybody on that card, Kevin Lee. And it's just such an honor to be able to fight and to even open up for guys like that. So I'm going to be sure to put on a good show.
You know, and another thing you get to do, you get to go into enemy territory and you get to take on an opponent, and Mike Sanford in his backyard. Do you like kind of embracing the role of the villain here?
That's so exciting. He's right there. Is he from Mississippi?
Right I want to say he is. That's where he lives. He lives right there now.
Yeah. So, and it's funny because I watch like one of his older fights and I hear the crowd, screaming, Mike, or whatever, so I'm really actually excited for that. And it's going to fuel me. And I love that. I love being the underdog.
Now, overall, what do you think of Mike Sanford as an opponent?
I think he's a good opponent, a good formidable opponent. Like you said, really solid ground game. I know he's a black belt, jiu-jitsu, is good wrestling. Most of his finishes, I believe, are by rear naked choke. So, it's definitely something to, to take into account. But, I've dealt with so many different styles. I fought D1 wrestlers. I fought black belts in jiu-jitsu as well. And I believe I have all the tools and the skills to take this challenge.
The fact that on this card you have so many killers, you have so many big names, so many guys who are known for exciting fights, like Jason Knight and Josh Weems and Costa and Davis. Does that give you even more motivation to go out there, man, and try to pick up a finish?
I always fight for the finish. I'm always motivated for the finish. But yes, knowing that those guys are going to be in the back, maybe watching my fight, or are they going to be going after me? And it's going to be huge. I'm going to want to put a statement and finish this guy.
Could you see potentially, if all things go well here, do you think Gamebred could be a platform where, you could really emerge as potentially one of the faces of the promotion with your exciting fighting style?
I definitely do. I feel like I was kind of born for bare knuckle. I got some sharp knuckles on me. I can take a good punch, and I like to fight. I like to keep it standing, and I don't mind if it gets bloody. So, really, I'm perfect for Gamebred FC.
Man, they're doing more and more shows now. Every single show, it's getting bigger and bigger. We're starting to get some big names. Junior Dos Santos has fought there, and Alan Belcher, and Roy Nelson, Verdum, and Costa, and Davis. Do you think this promotion could get really, really big?
100%. It could be as big as the UFC. Really, bare knuckle is on the rise. Not just MMA, bare knuckle boxing, anything like that. And there's more and more fans getting pulled over to this sport. And anything's possible. I really believe it could be huge. It could be the next thing.
It definitely does take a special breed to be a fighter, man. I think so many people watch mixed martial arts, and I think they see the John Joneses and the Conor McGregors and the Habibs, and they're like, wow, what a great life it must be to be a professional fighter. I mean, there's fame, there's glory. Little do they know, man, being a mixed martial artist is all about sacrifices, especially, better than anybody fighting on the regional scene. You're not making millions of dollars. There's a lot of sacrifices to go with that. A lot of guys have 9-to-5 jobs. A lot of guys are married. They have kids. They have wives. They have a house to pay off. Then you have to pay on the side to train almost every single day. You have to deal with killers who want it just as bad as you. You have to get punched in the face, punch them in the face. And obviously, when you fight the Gamebred, you fight the PFLs, the money does get better. A lot better than most of the regional promotions, obviously. but the rest of the sacrifices do continue. What's made you stick with this, man, and keep punching and kicking?
Man, well, I'm not a guy to quit. I don't when I say I'm going to do something, I follow through with it. I think a lot of things. I think the main thing is my community around me, of Merritt Island and my family, and yeah, keeps me going every day.
You know, for you, what's the ultimate goal? What are you trying to accomplish with your MMA career?
I want to be a world champion. I want to be if it's Gamebred FC Bareknuckle world champion. That's what I want to be. I want to be a world champion. So that's what I when I started this, that's what I started to do, or started this for that. And the thought and the idea that hasn't changed. Still same goal. I want to be a world champion.
You know, when you were younger, who were some of the guys that you looked up to? Who motivated you MMA wise?
John Jones, Conor McGregor, Jorge Masvidal. Yeah, like a little even back farther than that, Tito Ortiz, Chuck Liddell. So,
you know, obviously Jorge Masvidal plays a big part of this promotion, this being one of the bosses in charge of it. Obviously, I mean, when you look at that guy, I mean, his career was amazing. I mean, his crazy career, man, for so long, you know, he was a name, and all of a sudden he had that year, I think it was 2018, 2019, man, he picked up and became one of the biggest names to ever do this, man. Do you get a lot of motivation, inspiration from that? And is it pretty cool just to be able to find a card for him?
It's such a great honor to be able to fight for the boss man, Jorge Masvidal. Yeah, a 3-piece in a soda. It's just classic, and yeah, I'm gonna add a couple side of biscuits to that 3-piece in a soda. So that's my plan.
You know, a couple of those names that you mentioned there, the Tito Ortiz or the McGregors, what they really showed, I think, is you need to be able to fight to be a mixed martial artist, but this is also entertainment. You have to have that personality now, you know, and you see in certain promotions, guys who might be the best, not the best skilled in the world, but they're getting title shots quicker than others because they talk. They know how to sell pay-per-views. They put asses in seats. Is being like for you, is being yourself, like you're a charismatic guy, being a character but being natural about it. Is that something you like considered? Is it using your personality ever come to your mind?
Not really. I feel like I'm meant to be here in this position, and I'm just riding the wave, and yeah, kind of going with it, and I say what comes to mind. So that's what you're gonna get out of me.
All right, David, last question for you, my friend. In a perfect world, what is the outcome when you take on Mike Sanford November 15th in Biloxi, Mississippi?
The perfect world. All right, I start touching him with the jab right off the bat. Then he dives. I hit him with a flying knee. He's asleep on the canvas.
Absolutely. I mean, that is a bold prediction. We'll see if it happens. You know, I think we're in for a treat, man. This card is so stacked. I can't believe you two are going to be the first ones on here. And, you know, before we go, is that cool too, to be able to just get this over with, be the first one, kick off the show? Do you enjoy that?
Oh yeah. It's been a while since I've been the first fight out, but yeah, I'm gonna enjoy it, and I can't wait.
Awesome, man. I can't wait as well. And the rest of the people watching at home can't wait for this crazy fight card. It's crazy. It's only in 3 weeks, but that will do it for us today. David, thank you so much for your time, man, and good luck to you.
No worries. Peace.
So that's it for us today. That is Mr. David Zelner. I'm the Fight Dr. Carl Prusa. Stick around, fight fans.